Let's see who's going to be joining. Just give it a few moments for people to realise that I've gone live, and then we will make a start on this pretty simple forget-me-not painting this morning. Okay, it looks like we have finally gone live, 11 seconds in. Let's see who joins today. Let's see if I can get it on my phone as well so I can... Yay! For once, I've got it on my phone simultaneously. Now that's a first. Excellent. So this is a little picture we're going to be doing today, guys. I thought how appropriate in this time about remembering friends and family that we're parted from, and obviously more sadly those that are being lost during this awful time. I've just noticed that I've got subtitles coming up. So, hey, who knew? Hello, Joy, how are you? Marcella. Hi, Marcella. I don't think I've had you join before. Becky, good to have you on today, Becky. Hello, Karen. So feel free to ask questions as you go along. You're joining with watercolours, Heather. Ah, interesting. See how you do with that one. Hello, Sue. Sue Eden's joined as well. Excellent. So I've got 9 of you watching. I thought we'd get more than that. There was over 30 people showed an interest in this one. So let's give it a few more moments before we begin. I'll just talk you through this little scene. So obviously we've got a glass bowl here. Hello, Pam. That the flowers are sitting in. So it's about reflections. There's not much background. It's been kept very simple, and then a bunch of colourful forget-me-nots sprouting out the top. Oh, your order came today, Joy. Really good to hear. They seem to have sped up. I had another mug, one of my Nightingale mugs was delivered within 2 days. So I think it's sporadic with the Royal Mail, depending on what sorting office you're with as to what level of service you get. So anyway, back to the task in hand. I've only got 10 of you today. Where is everyone today? Seriously, this is a good demo. Okay, so I'm working on Canson pastel mat, and I'm using the smooth side of the pastel paper, not the rough side. I hope that's what I've taped down. So there's a clean sheet down there, and this is in ivory. I didn't have any other colours. If I was choosing, I would have probably gone for a grey background paper rather than the cream, but it's all I've got. So we'll make the most of the tools that I have in front of me. So I could have done this on velour, but I'm going through a phase at the moment because not everybody has velour, that I'll do more of these tutorials using normal pastel mat. So I have nothing sketched out. We're going to do this all together today. So, 14 of you, that's better. Creeping up, slowly, slowly. Okay, so I'm going to start with my background. And I'm seeing, I've just realised I haven't picked my pink out. I want a soft pink. I've got these beautiful, I'm very lucky to have some of these beautiful, the ones here that have got paper wrapping around them are Unison. They're hand rolled pastels. They are so soft. If you can afford to, I recommend you can buy them in sets of 6. Just buy a few. Even if you buy a white, just try it out and you'll see the difference from a normal soft pastel to the creme de la creme of soft pastel. Ah, right, let me say a few hellos. Karina, hello. You're here live at last. Good to have you along. Hillary's watching. Diane. Hello, Sandra. Excellent. So we've got a lot more people coming on. So I'm going to use this very pale pink to start with, and I'm just going to cover my sheet. I'm going to avoid some of the area. I'm not going to put the pigment so heavy where the flowers are going to sit, because with normal pastel paper, it can get clogged quite quickly. So bring this soft pink I'm going to add some more colours to this as well. I'm going to change my direction at the bottom of the page. I really don't know how I've got subtitles come up. Very confusing. I do want colour behind the glass. It's a glass after all that we can see through. So we need to reflect that in the painting. Let me find a... Okay, now I've got this lovely... Let me see, are those two different? I want something a little bit more... Yeah, we'll go with this one. I'm just going to take the paper off my pastel, guys, so I can get the side of my chalk down on the paper. Bear with me a sec. So I've got this lavender colour that I want to blend in with the pink for my background. So I'm just going to stroke that in the same way, using the flat of the pastel around my paper. Pastels are really mucky, really mucky. So if you enjoy getting your hands messy, then this is the medium for you. I recommend Joy, if you're going to get some, Joy's just saying she needs more pastels in paler colours. I really do recommend that you try getting these brand. They're around £3 a stick, £3.50 a stick, so they are expensive, but they're just divine. Okay, so I'm just using my finger. You could use a tissue to blend these pastels together. I don't mind if some of the background paper shows through. It all adds to the blurry, hazy effect that I want in the background. It's not a solid colour. I'm going to bring some of this into where the flowers are going to sit and just blend away. I would pick up a bit of tissue, but I seem to have none because it will blend a bit better. I found a little bit of tissue. There we go. It'll move around better. Do you know why? Because there's oil on your fingers. No matter how much we're washing our hands these days, which is a lot, you've still got natural oils on the skin. So using a bit of tissue or cloth will give you a better blend and blow away the excess dust. Hello, Lind Jarvis. Good to have you along as well. Okay, I'm also going to put a little blue into my background. I want more of a darker haze down towards the bottom, and just a few areas, and actually some light grey, just to mix it up a bit. Don't want to overdo it, but I do like a mixture of colours to form my background. Just give them a blend in and revert back to my finger. You can see the dust that collects on the top of the paper. That's normal. You're just pushing the chalk into the grain of the paper. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that as a background. Yes, not so many aquas, mainly blues, Linda, today. Okay, now for the crucial bit. Sketching your vase. Some people have trouble with circles, sometimes I do, but remember this is pastel. We can blur out any mistakes that we make and just go over them. I want my bowl to be slightly off center. I'm just loosening my shoulder because I do normally do this standing up, but I'm sitting today. The movement needs to come from your shoulder. I'm just going to sketch this round, really light strokes with my white pastel. It's like a goldfish bowl vase. Around the other side. Until I get the shape that I'm happy with. Once I've got that shape, then I'll make my lines a little bit more permanent. It's the top, the neck of the vase. Okay. Now, the thing about doing glass is it's reflective. And I've drawn a line all the way around the edge, but I'm going to lose some of that because that is not what you see. You will see areas, I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of the word. never mind. There are parts of the vase that you will just see through and it will go pretty much straight to the background. So there's areas on this little vase. I'm now going to, actually I'll use my blending stick. Use my rubber-ended blending stick. I'm going to push and get rid of some of this white line and leave the bits that I want. So I'm just going to push that chalk back. It's almost like carving around that pencil mark. Just getting rid of and pushing back those sketchy marks that I no longer want. Now I'm happy with my shape. So just using my rubber-ended blender to push back to reveal the shape that I want. I'm just going to slightly flatten the bottom. There we go. So that's the circle, that's my starting point. I'm not going to worry about the flowers, I'm going to work on the vase for a little while. And now I want to lose the edge. There's going to be some reflections of the blue I'm using above. Actually, let me just bring in the waterline. I have a pastel white pencil here as well. So if you're comfortable with a pencil, you can use that with your soft pastels. I'm just going to bring the waterline in the vase quite lightly at this stage. And then also you can see the water at the back very faintly in my reference photo. So I'm getting this oval in for the water level, yeah? So it gives it that 3D look. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, I'm going to go in and strengthen with a grey, she says, and I haven't got a grey ready. Here we go. This is a nice grey. Let me just see how dark that is. That's quite dark. Okay, let's go with this. I'm going to strengthen this waterline. I'm going to bring the edge of my grey underneath that waterline. So it's like a reflective, a shadow from the water on the edge of the glass. And this little corner here, where the water meets the edge of the glass, is not going to be white. It's actually going to have some reflective colours from the flowers above. Okay, so I'm bringing a little bit of grey in there first. I'm also going to bring this grey, I want this lighter grey, down this side of my glass vase. And I'm going to bring some of this pink over it. Remember, it's glass, so we can see the colour through it. It's just acting like a magnifying glass and strengthening the colour. Translucent. No, that wasn't the word, Becky. No, it's to do with painting something. You see, we have this habit as humans to paint what we think is there instead of what we can actually see. And the trick to getting a realistic painting is to use observation in your art and not guesswork, and not using what our brain is telling us should be there. We know it's a solid object and it's got edges to it, but we can't see the edges. So we need to forget that. We need to forget what we know, because it will cloud our judgment artistically when we're painting. I'm going to take this lighter blue over this side, and this time I want to see the edge of the glass, but it's just picking up some reflections from the POW. I'll even go paler. I've got a paler blue here. Just going to, each time I'm putting this colour on, I'm using my blending stick, or you could use a cotton bud, to push back the pastel and blend it down. So this is reflections from the blue flowers that are going to be going in above. Okay. I love this light blue, so I'm going to bring some of that over here as well. And I'm going to bring some greys into, I haven't got quite the right colour that I want, so I'm going to mix some colours. I'm using this grey, which is quite dark. Excuse the scratching. I know some of you don't like the sound of the scratching on the paper, There's nothing I can do. And then I'm going to put some of this pale blue in with this grey, just because I haven't got the exact colour I want. So the joy of pastels is you can mix these colours on the paper to create the colour you're looking for. And just blend them, pushing that chalk around to blend it into the glass to create what I'm looking for, which is slightly darker colours than those that are sat behind. I'm coming round the water here, so I'm changing direction, but I'm pulling the pastel because this is the top of the water, which would be sitting flat. So my stroke mimics the direction of that. What make are they? Which ones, Joy? These pastels? These are Unison. Unison. Unison pastels. The creme de la creme, as I said, the best that there is, in my opinion. Sometimes you don't want the really soft ones, though, but if you're looking for soft, you can't beat them. Hand rolled. I'd love to go there one day. You can get visits up there. Perhaps we should take an art trip out to the Unison factory. I think it's Northumberland. But then we'd have to leave our bank books and our credit cards at home because we'd all be skint. Okay, I'm just going to take this grey line that I put in earlier under the water, darken that here. Okay, it's getting there. The lip of the vase, I've lost my pencil, here it is. So I just need to come up the edge, bring the top of this little, quite a shallow vase. It's a bit like one of those big round light bulbs, isn't it? Just bring some colour up there. I'm also going to bring in some interesting colours. So I have this rather dark, it's like a burgundy brown. I'm just going to bring in for some of the shadow areas around the neck of the vase where you have these, the area, you know, where the lid used to be. I don't think this was a vase. I think it was a jar of some sort. So just creating some structure. I've left this area because I'm going to have some flowers coming over. Now let's make this vase solid. Let's put it on the table, shall we? So I'm desperately looking round for my black. Here we are. So under the vase. Now, if you're using soft pastels, make sure when you're doing small areas that you look for a nice sharp corner of your pastel. And I'm going to bring this in under the vase, under that glass, and out to the side. It's very strong, the back. And put that pigment down. Now I'm also going to add some reflective blues into this. So just under the black, I'm putting some blues that are going to be reflected from above. And now I'm going to smudge this. Again, you can use your finger if you want. I'm trying to be a bit cleaner today. Take this shadow, blow away the dust. There'll be lots of blurs, lots of blur going on today. And then bring this shadow around the edge of the vase. It's going to make the white of the glass pop out. Perhaps we could go to the Lake District. Just thinking aloud now, guys. We could do an art trip to the Lake District, do some plein air painting, and visit the Derwent, because isn't Derwent up there? We could visit the Derwent factory. What a good trip that would be. That would make a great weekend, something to look forward to when we're allowed to escape. Okay, I'm going to take this black line really tight around that jar there. Now, I'm also going to take my white and I'm going to come in this side of the jar because I'm getting some reflective light from the glass. I'm coming up to the edge of the jar, slightly in front, and just laying some of this white in. and along. And this is going to help give you, I'm not putting a surface, there's no dividing line from the back of this painting to the front. Sorry, my stick's a bit mucky. Let me just clean that off. So really this surface that the vase is sitting on is what's given you its place in the world, if you understand what I mean. That's a finger. And blend that in. So you've got some reflective light. I want some of the marks of the paper to show through. So I'm going to go back in and let some of those sit there. I'm going to bring a little bit over here, a little bit back here. I love working in pastels, guys. It is my favourite. Hello, Mark. Good of you to join us. I've just realised I'm up here. I'm painting along and I forgot my tea. Heaven forbid. Okay, I'm taking my white. I'm going to find a different white with a sharper edge. If I've got one with a sharper edge. Let me just clean off an edge. Okay, because I want to go and get some sharp white around the edge of the bowl. So I need an edge. I could use my pencil for this, but it's not going to be as bright as the chalk. And I really want this side of the glass. Excuse if my head is getting into shot. I need to get close to my paper at this point. Bring these sharp whites in. I also want a strong white up this side. And then round the bottom of the vase here, I'm seeing a really strong white here. So I'm really pushing my chalk into the paper to get that strong white there. Now, I can see that my shadow here needs to be a bit darker to make this pop out. So it's just adjusting. It's not blend. Maybe it's your day, Sue. I'm just darkening that shadow there so my white really pops out. I'm going to add another really strong white along this edge of the water, just this side. Again, just where light's bouncing off of my glass. And then I just want to take the in here a bit darker. And I've spent quite a lot of time on this vase because it's quite crucial that you get the look of the glass right. And just tap those darks in. It will help with the whites. Okay, and now I'm going to bring my white, strong white reflection on the glass. And a couple of lines there. And then in the bottom of the vase, I want to strengthen the white around this edge. And then there's a bit inside the bowl. And this dark blue with a little bit of grey into the bottom. A little bit of black, just darken that a tad more. There we go. So we're starting to get something that looks reflective, yeah? Do you agree? I hope so. Okay, so the next stage is going to be building my flowers and my stems into the vase, now that I've got this sitting quite nicely on the table here. Just switching hand, I'm ambidextrous. I wished. If I was ambidextrous, I could do two paintings at the same time. That would be quite cool, wouldn't it? Right, just looking back at this picture, I've just seen I want this line. It's good to reflect on what you've done, to sit back I'm adding a little bit of this, it's like a turquoisey blue, dark turquoisey blue, into this grey line that I put around the waterline. I just felt it needed to be a bit stronger and a bit bluer than the grey that I put down. Okay, that's good. I'm happy with that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Joy. Let's see if I can not spoil it. So this is the edge that I was talking about. The reference term, I can't remember what it is, for painting that edge of the glass that you actually can't see. So using the reflective colours and no white around glass. Look how the line almost disappears in places into the background, and then you get these pops of white. That is how... Oh, thank you, Janet Selby. How clever, she says. It looks brilliant. It's very small marks, but it is where you place them. And it is really about observation, guys. Honestly, you really do need to look carefully at what it is that you're trying to portray. Okay. I think my blues now might be a bit bright looking at it on my screen, but I might dull them down. I might dull them down with a grey pencil. I'm just going to bring a grey pencil. I just want to get rid of some of that blue a little bit. There we go. Okay, let's do some flowers then, guys. So with these pastels, I want to work on the dark colours sitting in between the flowers first. So I'm going to be using this maroony colour. I'm just going to add some areas. Much like what I did the other day, I want to work quite loose. So the bowl is quite tight. It needs fairly tight and precise as to where you're putting your marks. But in the flowers, I'm just going to add some areas that are going to be dark and in shadow. There's going to be some areas amongst the here. This dark bird is coming in. I'm going to bring that down into the vase. And just before they break the water, I can see a darker tone here. And in my almost touching the bottom, I'm going to bring this maroon in here. Unusual colour to use, but it's what I can see in my picture. So I'm just adding some of these dark, shadowy areas. You can really see the water. Oh, that's brilliant. Mark, too bright in the sun. I do feel for you. Yes, having to go inside. You'll have to go inside to watch my videos. Okay, now I've got this quite muted green that I'm going to in and amongst this burgundy colour. I'm going to be fairly loose here. This is a challenge to myself, as I mentioned the other day, in loosening up my style and not being too contrived and too tight with what I'm doing. So I'm going to use the edge of my pastel to bring some stems over the top of this burgundy. I'm going to have some coming through the water. There's a twist, a bit of a twist to my stems coming down. Coming up here. And then some more stems coming over that way. In the bottom. Don't forget you get some diffraction, is that the word? I'm just going to bring some stems, all very loose, all very imaginary really. I'm looking for my ochre, here we go. So I'm going to bring some yellow ochre over the stems to add some areas of highlight. And allow the colours to mix. There we go. And some of this coming through these stalks here. And a few bits of yellow ochre. Not many, I can see a few bits of yellows up here. I'm just going to make this area a bit wider where the stalks are coming. I'm going to have some stalks that are sort of not entering the water properly. Okay, twist them round. just blowing away the excess dust. Now, what I have done is I've spoilt my waterline, so I need to go back in and bring that back over the top. There we go. The waterline's back. Do not fear. I'm going to put a little extra highlight here. There we go. This chalk. Strengthen my highlighter. Just tweaking. And now these stalks are in the water. Where they're touching the bottom of the vase, I'm going to add another little light. Another sign of the glass. Where the stalks are touching the bottom. And some little signs of water movement here and there. Okay. Are we happy with that? Are we ready to move on to the flowers? So I'm going to use my darker blues first. So the teal blue that I use down here, I'm going to bring in some flowers. I'm just using the edge of my chalk. I don't want too many of this colour because it's quite dark. This is more shadowy colour. But there is a myriad of blues. I'm going to try this one. I prefer this. And I'm just down and creating like these ones are blurred. There's no definition to the flowers that I'm putting in now. I'm just creating a mass of colour. Just let the pastel dance around, flick around the paper. Remember that you put on your will give you the different strengths of colour. So if you want more colour, push harder. If you want lighter, ease your pressure. Bring some little flowers that are going to be coming across the vase here. I want some coming right out to the side. I'm not too sure on this blue now. I've done quite a lot of it, changed my mind. I'm going to use this heavy blue. It's a bit more scratchy, this one. Let me get a softer one so it's not so harsh on your ears. Some more of a lavender. Add some lavender to cool it down. Even if you're using blues, they're not all cool blues. You've got warm blues and cool blues. These paler ones are very cool. This lavender's more warm. So mixing the types of blue you're using will add some interest to your painting. So I'm really just using the edge of my chalk. I say just letting it bounce and dance on the paper to create these patterns of leaves. I'm not looking too closely at the detail at this stage. I will bring some more detailed flowers in. Okay, I'm just going to tap all this down with my finger and blow it. Blow these blues. Soften it. Soften, soften, soften. Just wipe my hands off so I don't mess them up. So these are the background flowers. I'm just trying to fill the vase in here. Pushing these colours together, creating this background that some more flower with a bit more definition can sit against. Now where's my baby blue? Here it is. So I'm going to add some real light blue around here. Just dancing around, light and shade. It's all an illusion that we're creating. We're creating magic. Switch my blue again. Okay. I'm going to bring some more precise little tiny flowers that are coming out much higher. Now don't even worry if you haven't got a stem connecting these. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be that precise, guys. You're creating that, you're filling the gap. The viewer will not, oh, there's no stem attaching those flowers. They're just floating. They really won't. The eye fills in the missing information. Because, just like I was saying earlier, about us painting what we actually see, what's actually there, rather than what's in our head, the same applies to your viewer. They will fill in the missing information. Their head will fill in the missing information, and these flowers will be joined. So use it to your advantage. There we go. We're starting to get... Oh, thank you, Naomi. Thank you, my lovely. I'm just going to have some little flowers coming out off to the side again here, coming down. Forget-me-nots. I used to have a perfume called Forget-me-not. I can't remember who. I think it was a Dior one. I think they stopped making it. I loved it. I'm just bringing some little flowers down here. A little bit of lavender. No, a little bit of this blue. Into these flowers. Just add in some variation of colour. I could play with this for hours, this painting, I think. Ah, this blue's nice. Aha. That's a good one for the shadow colours. Wasn't so mad on that turquoisey colour. They're more pastel-y. Let's bring some more flowers. Bring some light. There's another bunch. I'm going to have a bunch here, and this bunch coming out to the side. So not much blending in this bit. You want the colours to sit on the surface, but I will blend this area where the stems are. It's looking too solid. I want it more muted. So I'm just going to take my blender, take some of these stems, make them a bit softer. Coming through the water. That's better. It was looking too harsh, too solid amongst such a soft painting. And just softening them down. I have trouble with my speech today, guys. Now, if I want some illusion of some stems going on here, you can just drag your blending stick to create some linear lines. I don't want too many of those, though. Okay, so I'm going to move forward to my white. Now, this is where I want a little bit more detail. Actually, this is too light here. Just a bit more blue in here, guys. Add a little bare spot there. Don't want that. More stronger blues coming through this central section. It's kind of a little path of this stronger blue coming, winding through here. Underneath. Make sure the underneath flowers are darker and your light, so at the top of these little bunches. Okay, because the light's coming from above. We want to make sure that follows through in what we're doing. So just bringing some more light. And now I want my little white ones. Finger crossed. Okay, away the dust. And I'm really going to push down. Come on, Unison, don't let me down. And push this white in to bring some little white petals. Some real highlights amongst these flowers. Real pops of light. Particularly works against the darker blue that I've put down. You see how that white is going to pop out. because it's got the darker blue to sit against. You could put your white flowers in first, of course. I did have that in my mind earlier to do that, but forgot completely about it and got carried away. Yeah, you can put your white flowers, if you put your white down first, even if it gets muddied over, you can bring the white back. Or if you're struggling to get the white down, give it a spray. Use your pastel fixative. Give it a spray with that. And then let it dry back, and you'll be able to go over again with your pastels. It will give you more working time because the pastel mat will get saturated. Tiny little flowers down here hanging over the vase. I'm going to take some stronger blue amongst this white to help the white pop out. And these little babies over here, I've forgotten about those. Okay, I'm going to add a bit of a stem. Just joining some of those together. Just a couple of bits of greenery. Just using the edge of my chalk. Create some leaves. I'm loving doing this one with you guys today. Really is enjoyable. You know what, these challenges may be good for you guys, but it's really good for me too. It's good for my soul. It's good for my sanity. And I do feel like I'm giving something back to the local community. I'm just playing with the different blues now, guys, just adding some more detail. And then the final foray is some yellow. So there are tiny little kind of egg yellow centers to these flowers. So this will turn them to look more like flowers. Just putting these tiny pops of yellow in. Some centers. Tiny little marks of yellow coming in. I'll lift this up. I'll bring the camera a bit closer in a moment so you can try not to smudge my work with my hand at the same time. I've got a stronger yellow here. Let me just grab this. Here we go. I don't need to put so much pressure on the Unison pastels. You just stroke them down and the colour pops. I also want, if I've got the colour here, to add some dark purple in places. Just some darker shadows. Not a lot, just here and there. Are you enjoying this, guys? You're all quiet. You could use your pastel pencils, Joy. Definitely. Where's my light blue? Here it is. This real light blue. So now I'm just going to refine. Have a look. Sit back and see where else I need some more colour. Just a bit more purple here. Dress in the balance. Oh my God, Janet. Yes. Rembrandt. I love Rembrandt, and I do recommend them as a good quality artist pastel. But Unison, seriously, let me find a Rembrandt. Here's a Rembrandt. Rembrandt machine made. they are, should we say, they're quite creamy, which is a good thing. But these beauties are very, it's the amount of pigment to binder. You can tell there's more binder in the Rembrandt than the Unison. Just from the look and when you pick it up, it's got a soft feel. Just rub. Okay, if you take a Rembrandt, let me find a clean bit of and rub it on your hand. The pigment down. Okay, take a Unison. Look at that. Look at the power. Look how soft it is. You could use shadow. In fact, I might. Hey guys, one last thing. I know I've only been 45 minutes. 45 minutes. 45 minutes. I've got some hair dye today. It arrived in the post. And I'm going to be painting this lavender. It arrived this morning. This is the box. The colour is a bit worrying in the jar. I just want to share this with you. In the jar, it's quite a dark purple. So I'm going to give it a go. So by Monday, we'll see what I look like. Okay, back to my picture. I'm just going to do some finishing touches here. I can see some of the paper come through there that I don't want around there. So I'm just going to tap my pink in these places, just fill in some of the gap. There we go. Do I want tweaks? Let's have a final look over this. I'm going to add some Rembrandt blue in here. Janet, for this type of painting, it's going to be loose and you want soft colours, then Unison, they just blow everything else out of the park. If you're doing a pet portrait and you're doing detailed work, don't use, I use my Unison background in my pet portraits, but I don't use it for the detail. They're far too soft. You can't get a sharp line from them because they are too crumbly. So yeah, horses for courses. It's good to have a mix. That's why, as you can see here, I've got all sorts of brands going on. I'm just going to add a bit more Pale Blue into my background, hazy areas, and a bit coming across here. I just think it will balance that pink. Add a bit of coolness, blend that in. I may come through with my white, give it a spray, and then add some strong drops of white because I do feel I need some stronger white highlights amongst these flowers. Other than that, I'm quite happy with my work today. Let me bring it up to show you a bit closer. So you can see these marks. You can see the yellow centres, and the illusion that we've created in the glass. Remember, you do not want a white line all the way round your glass. Look, observe, copy what's there, you think is there, and then you're on the highlight. Okay. Christine, good to have you along. Please watch this one back. You'll really enjoy it, I think. Fun with your pastels today, guys, in sunshine. But most of all, stay safe. And I will be back on Monday with another week of fun art activity. So for now, I'll say cheerio. Bye. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, follow. Thank you.